All right, Khan. Shalom, shalom. All right, we want to first start, as we always do, by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, which is the name of the Most High and His only begotten Son. Again, we are the Doctrine of Life Israelites, brothers coming back to give you another mighty lesson through the Spirit, Most High willing. Shalom, brothers. How brothers doing? Are y'all able to hear me and everything okay?
Shalom. Yep, hear you pretty good. How's
Khan, all
everything?
praise. All praise. How about you, brother Jason? Everything good with you out?
Yes, sir.
All praise to the Most High. Well, again, like I said, we're coming back with another lesson. As you can see by the title, I believe brothers titled this one, Hebrew Israelites are going to go into the race wars, the race wars that are taking place in the earth. Okay, brothers was able to get a lot of good information. As you know, and as everybody can tell, there's a lot of things going on in the world in these last days. I mean, you'd have to be a fool to not see all of the prophecies that are taking place, that are actually occurring in these last days, and a lot of different things that are biblically sound. So Most High willing, us brothers can give a good lesson going into some of the race wars that are either brewing on the earth, has been on the earth, or some of those things that may shortly come to pass. So again, that's the lesson that us brothers are going to be going into. As we always do, we're going to try to give about 5 minutes, some time for anybody who is going to tune in to be able to have some time to come into the lesson. As we always ask, if you could, when you do enter, if you could please just like the video. Of course, that helps to spread the content, and that way this word and this message gets out to anybody who may benefit from it. But again, shalom to everybody that's coming in. Shalom to the 12 tribes scattered to the four corners of the earth. Again, Most High willing, this will be another really good lesson. So again, in about 5 minutes, we'll go ahead and get started. Most High willing, y'all can stay tuned with us. Us brothers like to do this, always starting with an opening precept. I see we got Sister Yamina in the chat. And shalom, Sister Yamina. Shalom. Again, all praise to the Most High for everybody that's tuning in and will tune in. If you can come in, just hit a like, and then about 5 minutes, we're going to go ahead and get started with the lesson. But again, shalom. And we're going to start with the opening precept that we always go to, 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 17. Okay, classic precept. As brothers say so often, we just like to hold this as a pillar for the spirit in which brothers go out here and do the work. Okay, it's just very important that this spirit is always reiterated, because it's very mighty considering the warnings that Yahawah gave us in Matthew 24 about many false prophets rising up and deceiving many. So if a brother could get that for us, as we always do, 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 17.
2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 17. For we are not as many which corrupt the word of God, but as of sincerity, but as of God, in the sight of God, speak we in Christ.
Now, there's many great verses in the Bible, but again, us brothers like to hold that one as a pillar to how we come out here and do the work, understanding how much sincerity matters in this thing, understanding, as we mentioned, referencing Matthew 24 and Yahawah telling us that many are going to come and try to corrupt the word of the Most High. So us brothers try to go out and fight that good fight, being people for which you can come and actually get the truth from. Okay, so I think we may be at about 5 minutes, and we're not going to go and delay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started with this lesson. Again, us brothers want to start with a mighty precept. Okay, I was thinking about this one, and I want us to consider the topic the whole time about the race wars that are coming upon the earth. I'm gonna start this one up in the book of Psalms, chapter 19. And brother, if you could kick us off with verse 12, the book of Psalms, chapter 19, and starting at verse 12.
Psalms chapter 19, verse 12. Who can understand his errors? Cleanse thou me from secret faults. Keep back thy servant also from presumptuous sins.
Now, this is a mighty prayer that King David is putting up. Okay, he's asking, let's get the first question in verse 12. Who can understand his errors? Cleanse thou me from secret faults. So I am as well am believing in and coming in this same spirit that King David is coming in. And Most High willing, anyone who's tuning into this video would do the same. But brother, if you can continue with verse 13.
Keep back thy servant also from presumptuous sins. Let them not have dominion over me. Then shall I be upright, and I shall be innocent from the great transgression. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer.
And that's very important, that we let the words of our mouth and the meditation of our heart be acceptable in the sight of the Most High. Actually, that really mirrors what 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 17 goes into. But again, these are mighty things for all of us to consider. Let me get one more, brother, because this one is a beautiful one too. Going into the Apocrypha, brother. I'm going to get the book of Sirach, and we're going to go to chapter 14. Can we get that one out? Sirach chapter 14 and verse 1.
Sirach chapter 14, verse 1. Blessed is the man that hath not slipped with his mouth, and is not pricked with the multitude of sins.
See, a man is blessed when he doesn't slip with his mouth. And if you have been around Doctrine of Life's Israelites for any amount of time, you know that us brothers really harp on that a lot, because we like to be, as I tell the brothers all the time, I'm trying to make brothers blameless as possible. You know, we're not out here trying to profess a lot of knowledge that we don't know. We're not out here operating in spirits or our own agendas. We do this with a very strong spirit of sincerity, making sure that we understand things like that. A man is blessed when he doesn't slip with his mouth. Okay, these are mighty things that us brothers like to embody, because this conversation is going to be important to tackle into that, because I have a feeling some feathers may be ruffled by the end of this lesson. But again, us brothers are just going to do our best to rightly divide the word of truth and bring it out. Okay, one more. Sirach chapter 26, brother. This one's mighty as well. Sirach chapter 26 and verse 20, brother. As again, the conversation is going into race. Okay, we said that there were race wars that were going on in the earth, brewing on in the earth, and us brothers are going to play some videos so that you can be able to get the understanding. But of course, we want to first get the scriptural and biblical understanding, because what does race mean? Okay, let's get some of the understanding, brother. Can we start in the book of Sirach chapter 26? And with this one, brother, let's start at verse 20.
Sirach chapter 26, verse 20. When thou hast gotten a fruitful possession through all the field, sow it with thine own seed.
Sow it with what, brother?
Sow it with thine own seed, trusting in the goodness of thy stock.
See, now that's very important, and I want us to pay attention to this. It says, when thou hast gotten a fruitful possession through all the field, sow it with thine own seed, trusting in the goodness of thy stock. So what does it mean when we're talking about going into seed? All right, I'm gonna get this one real fast. All right, let's go to the book of Romans chapter 1. Brother just mentioned this one. Romans chapter 1 and verse 3. If you can read that, brother, then we're going to go ahead and get the etymology of the word seed in this context, just again, so we can rightly divide this thing and understanding, you know, all of the different nuances going into seed and race and what that means, brother. Can you read Romans 1 and 3? And just to start, Shalom, brother Reno Price. Shalom, brother Jeff Berry. All praise to the Most High for you brothers coming in. Yeah, brother, if we can pick up there reading Romans chapter 1 and verse 3 out.
Hey, can you put on the screen, brother? So.
Oh yeah, you're right. Slacky about that. There we go. Ron.
The book of Romans chapter 1 verse 3, concerning his son Jesus Christ our Lord, which was made of the seed of David according to the flesh.
Now think about that. Listen to this genealogy. We're about to get the genealogy concerning Yahawah HaMashiach, which was made of the seed of David according to the flesh. Okay, so like I said, let's get something going into the etymology of this word seed. Okay, we have Strong's G4690. Let me get the etymology of that.
Strong's G4690, sperma. Sperma.
Okay, Khan, that word might sound familiar, sperma. Okay, so we all understand what this means when it's talking about seed. Let's get the understanding, the outlining of biblical usage. We got from which a plant germinates. The seed, the grain or kernel, which contains within itself the germ of the future plants. The semen, virile, okay, the product of this semen, seed, children, offspring, okay, all of the things that we would just be common sense when we start talking about seed. But we know us brothers got to do it in this way because we want to make sure that we give the proper understanding. Now let's go back to the book of Sirach. Now that we have the understanding of that word seed, brother, can you read verse 20 one more time?
Sirach chapter 26 verse 20. When thou hast gotten a fruitful possession through all the field, sow it with thine own seed.
I hope that's
Trust,
making more sense now that we got that understanding. Salakia, brother, if you can keep going.
sow it with thine own seed, trusting in the goodness of thy stock.
Verse 21 out.
Oh, Salaki. So thy race which thou leavest shall be magnified, having the confidence of their good descent.
Of their good what, brother?
Of their good descent.
Now listen to these words, and we got to pay attention because now we see the word race being used in the scriptures. It says, so thy race which thou leavest shall be magnified, having the confidence of their good descent, which also would go into descendants. Okay, now this would make sense because if you go into Matthew chapter 1, as we do all the time, Matthew chapter 1 through verse 20 goes over what? The genealogy of Yahawah HaMashiach, and it goes over the seed lines of all of his fathers going all the way down from King David. So again, it's very important, and even beyond that. But again, it's important for us to understand what the seed is because verse 21 is telling us that that's how we even identify race. Okay, brothers bring this out on the highways and hedges all the time. Numbers chapter 1 and 8. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just get that, brother. This will be real quick. Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18, just to show why brothers have this understanding of what creates ethnicity. We just had this conversation with a Christian, and we couldn't get this brother to understand why we were teaching him that the seed of a man is what dictated your ethnicity. Can we read Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18, brother, to just piece together all of these things we're bringing out?
Con. Numbers chapter 1, verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers.
By who, brother?
By the house of their fathers.
Now, you can hate brothers, you can feel how you want to feel about brothers, but you got to argue with the scriptures. Okay, one thing you'll notice, and us brothers say that it's crazy, Yahawah in Hebrews 7 and 14 was said that he came from the tribe of Judah. Then Matthew chapter 1, as brothers just said, literally gives you an entire genealogy of how he does come from the line of Judah. So it's just obvious and in plain sight how we dictate what makes a person, for example, a Jew or a Yahawahdim. Okay, so it's very important that we stick with the truth of the scriptures and what they're telling us. Can we keep going, brother? After by the house of their fathers.
After their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward, by their polls.
So again, this is very important that we go into to even understand how race works, because what you're going to find out is that biblically, race is defined an entirely different way than how the world defines it today. Us brothers of Most High willing going to uncover some of that. Let's get the classic, brother. Genesis chapter 10. If you ever wanted a good breakdown or understanding about the nations, Genesis chapter 10 is where you're going to go. It gives a breakdown, of course, going from Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, okay, from which the entire earth is populated. So again, Genesis 10, and us brothers are not going to read the entire chapter, but if you want to get a breakdown of the families coming all the way from Ham, Shem, and Japheth, Genesis chapter 10 is where you're going to go. And notice how all of these are also coming from the seed lines of fathers. Why is brothers mentioning this? Because you have a thing on the earth today where what? There's people who are claiming to be the people of God, the people of Israel, and they identify their ethnicity and their lineage coming from the house of their mothers. Sometimes that don't even really matter. But again, us brothers are trying to make sure that you're scripturally sound. So again, Genesis chapter 10 is where brothers are going to go to, what sisters are going to go to, if you want to be able to get a little bit more understanding about the different races on the earth and how they were established even from the very beginning. But now that we're here in 2025, let's be real. We all understand that brothers went into, what did we go into last class? Micah chapter 2, for example. Matter of fact, let me just get this, brother. I only wanted to reference this because if you're paying attention, brothers are really doing this in a series format, and we've covered a lot of the same information. So brothers did go already into the book of Micah chapter 2. Can we just read chapter 2, brother, to give them this example? Because the point that we're on now is that we see how races have been determined by the seed of their father. But what we have to let you know is that there's been a thing done in the earth. Okay, somebody has decided to go and change the bounds of the people. Okay, Micah 2 gives you a little bit of that. Can we get Micah chapter 2? And let's just start at verse 2 through 4, brother.
Micah chapter 2, verse 2. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage.
So there's people that are on the earth that take and covet fields by violence, and they oppress a man and his house, even a man in his heritage. Keep going up.
Verse 3. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, for this time is evil. In that day shall one take up a parable against you, and lament with a doleful lamentation, and say, we be utterly spoiled. He hath changed the portion of my people. How hath he removed it from me? Turning away, he hath divided our fields.
So again, brothers bring these scriptures out all the time, and we're just going to skim through these because again, some of these are repeat, but it's very important because what we teach our people is what Yahawah taught the people. Is by their fruits you're going to know a person. Okay, we don't come Doctrine of Israelites brothers, and believe it or not, a lot of brothers that are in this truth, a lot of Hebrew Israelite brothers don't teach skin doctrine. We don't teach determining who is who based on colors and based on skin. But again, we let these fruits declare who is who. Let's get another one, brother, because again, I just want to skim over these. Let's get Habakkuk chapter 2. And brother, if we can start with this one at verse 5.
Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5. Yeah, also, because he transgresseth by wine. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarged his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people.
Again, brothers and sisters, we got to follow the fruit. So we follow the fruits of these things. This is what the scriptures have told us to do. Okay, so brothers are following the fruit. Let's get verse 6, brother.
Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay.
So again, brothers are just referencing these points that we hope that we've covered in other videos. Psalms 83 is another one that you can go into. Okay, you can go into the Apocrypha and look at some of the accounts of the book of First Maccabees. We went into that in previous videos, uncovering some of the tactics and devices of these people who bear the fruits of oppressing men, oppressing their heritage, oppressing their nationality, changing and dividing fields, turning inside the bounds of the people. There's a people on the earth that are responsible for these fruits. But again, us brothers are going to get right into some of the videos that you've seen in the thumbnails today. Because again, pay attention to the topic, the race wars that are going on in this world. Us brothers are Most High willing going to get some understanding. I want us to get this first video. Okay. Now this is a man. I don't know anything about this man or where he comes from. So I definitely want to say fair use for using the video. But I want us to pay attention to some of the points that he addresses, okay? And then, of course, we're going to go ahead and pull out some scripture to go into what we hear. But I'm going to go ahead and start the video. Again, fair use.
Let me say that again. The whole history of America is the history of rich white men telling not rich white people that their enemies are black and brown. It starts in the colonies of what would become the United States. Let's remember, during the colonial period, mid-1600s, there was no such thing as white people. I know some people who are now called white find that shocking, right? Because they think whiteness is real. But whiteness was created. Europeans didn't call themselves white. We didn't call ourselves white. We weren't all members of one big happy family. Are you kidding? Have you studied the history of Europe? The history of Europe was about killing each other. That's what we did in Europe. We just killed each other. Before we figured out there were other people to kill, we just killed each other, right? I mean, that was the history of Europe. The English hated the Irish, right? Northern Italians didn't even think that Southern Italians were Italians. The Germans hated everybody, and everybody hated their ass right back. Right? There was no team called white, no race called white, but all of a sudden, in the middle of the 1600s, there was. Why? Why was it suddenly necessary to create this thing called the white race? Well, because rich people can count. That's why. Let me say that again. The whole history.
Now, I don't know if brothers and sisters was able to pay attention to that video or really get the gist of what he was putting out, but it's what the title essentially says. What does it say? Rich white men I can't read that. Rich white men something. They're going against everyone else, and then they make you blame black and brown people. See, this is something that they're even doing not only to the people whom they have in captivity, but they even do this to their own people. This deception runs deep. That's why us brothers often say a lot of times you could be out there in the highways and hedges giving somebody a piece of your mind based on their color, and they don't understand what you're talking about. They under that same deception as well. Not saying that that's going to make them avoid the judgment, just saying that we have to be wise in how we understand these things and how we move in these last days. Definitely when it comes to what we speak. That's why his brothers brought out the precepts that we did in the beginning. But I want us to pay attention to some of the things that he said, because us brothers just went into the Bible and showed you how race is defined in the Bible. Okay, race goes back to the seed of our fathers. That's why when we go out there on the highways and hedges, that's what we teach our people. Honestly, that's what we teach everybody. According to Genesis 10, everybody is going to come from the seed line of a man. So we teach that biblical concept. But is this man right here right? Again, I don't know who he is, and I'm not a component of whatever he is or whatever he teaches, but is the information correct? Is what you would call the so-called white race or the so-called white man and woman, is that a social construct? Is it something that was created? Is it based in science? Is it based in biblical truth? Or again, is it just a social construct? Okay, I'm gonna get a few more key points from
history of America is the history of rich white men telling not rich white people that their enemies are black and brown. It starts in the colonies of what would become the United States. Let's remember, during the colonial, because they think whiteness is real, but whiteness was created.
Okay, Khan. All right, that was being made plain. I wanted to get to a question. Okay, brother, like we always do so often, I typed a question into Google. And again, I know everybody got a gripe about Google. I don't say that everything online is all truthful and accurate information. Okay, us brothers definitely go by the scriptures, but these are guides. Okay, you Google something in here and you go and you continue your search. Maybe the first thing you find is a name or an organization that leads you to go deeper and deeper into research. But again, I want us to pay attention to some of the things that come up when you just simply do a Google search of who created races. Okay, brother, can you read that first excerpt?
Can you blow it up just a little bit?
This is gonna get interesting, man. Y'all check this one out. This is let's see what the concept of races actually comes from.
Okay. The modern concept of race based on skin color was not created by a single person, but was a system constructed by European naturalists and colonizers to categorize people.
Now, brothers say, oh, Salakia, brothers say that out on the highways and hedges all the time, but the information is not even hidden. Like, it's crazy. We have to argue with our people on a day-to-day basis just to teach them something that you can learn from a simple Google search. Brothers out there trying to tell you that you calling yourself a black person, and that's simply a color out of a crayon box. Brothers are telling you the different social constructs placed on the words white and black, and even they have benefited from it. Guess what? The so-called white man and woman have drank of that wine and fornication as well. Okay, so they themselves are under that deception. But listen to what even you can find just by a plain Google search, that system was constructed by European naturalists and colonizers. Who does that surprise? Absolutely nobody. All right, brother, if you can keep going.
Key figures like Carl Linnaeus and Johann Frederick Blumenbach developed early classification systems, but the idea of race became a way to justify social and political hierarchies, especially during colonization and slavery, as seen in the invention of the white race in Virginia around 1676. Notes.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, we can start right there, brother. Now, I did some research and I looked up all of these men, and there's other European men that are on the forefront of this thing as well. And some of you already know this. This is a crazy thing. A lot of these truths have already sprung out in the earth, and all praises to the Most High for that. But again, that's what this lesson is going into, trying to give our people the proper understanding, the real truth of the understanding. But it would be wise to look some of these men up if you want to do a little bit of separate research, just so you can verify the points that brothers are bringing out. But I wanted to pick up and end with this one, brother. Can you read the part that goes into social and political construction?
Social and political construction. While these classifications were initially based on observation, race quickly became a tool to create social hierarchies and justify systems like slavery and colonialism. The concept of whiteness was legally created in colonies to divide people and maintain power structures.
Looked like the man on the video was correct. Okay, people got together and decided amongst themselves, like, you know what? Why don't all of us have a confederacy? Why don't we start pulling up and having people worship an image? Why don't we make the image something that we use to divide and conquer? Okay, that's essentially what has happened here. If you're paying attention, that system, this social construct that was created, was actually a tool by Satan himself. Okay, we're going to see how this is manifested in the earth, brother. Finish out that last one.
Modern science has concluded that race is a social construct and not a biological reality. Though skin color itself is a real biological trait that evolved due to adaptation to UV radiation levels in different parts of the world.
Now, see, and that's mighty to sit and think about. Now, I've brought this out on the highways and hedges before. This right here is a book. Okay. It says that it was written by Benjamin Franklin. This, the title of it is Observations Concerning the Increase of Mankind from the year 1751. Now, I've brought this out before. And I don't know the credibility of this document or the book. I've definitely seen it on multiple sites, and I've even seen the book. So I have good reason to believe that this is an official document that's just floating around. And there's a lot of good information in here. If you have time, you can read through this entire book and uncover a lot of information. But what us brothers want to pull out is something that's very key in regards to the conversation that we're having. All right. I want to start at paragraph 24 and listen to this part. Matter of fact, brother, I want to start at verse 23. And if we could, brother, can you pick up at Washington, Pennsylvania, if you can see that? Right here, brother. It said where it says Washington, Pennsylvania.
Okay, I see it. Why should Pennsylvania, founded by the English, become a colony of aliens who will shortly be so numerous as to Germanize us instead of anglifying them, and will never adopt our language or customs any more than they can acquire our complexion?
Now, this is you have to really pay attention to this, because what it gives you is the mind frame of these people, even in the year 1751. Remember what we just have learned about the 1600s and this essentially confederacy to make the term white a symbol of oppression, a collusion, if you will, a way to get ready to set the lines between who's going to be on one side versus the other side, a crafty council, even, if you will. Okay, brother, if you can keep going. I think we can start at paragraph 24.
Okay. Which leads me to add one remark, that the number of purely white people in the world, you can scroll back out some. Okay. Which leads me to add one remark, that the number of purely white people in the world is proportionally very small.
Now, I had to sit with this, and brother, and this is even something that we can all sit and think about, because I've never really discussed this. When you look at the world and how it looks in the year 2025, we have no idea what it may have looked like in the year 1751. That's why it's kind of eye-opening to read accounts like this of history from a man who I would have to believe is giving truthful information because of who he's writing to. But again, he said that the number of purely white people in the world is proportionally very small. Us brothers teach out there on the highways and hedges that the races of people generally all started off as melanated people, and that a new thing is happening in the earth, where we read some of the scriptures that showed you the different colonizations that would happen. Somebody oppressing people's lands, their heritage, their nationality. You go and you conquer the Egypts, and now all of a sudden you're the Egyptians. You conquer the Israelites, and now all of a sudden you're the Israelites. You conquer the Native Americans, and now all of a sudden you're the Americans. There are people that bear these fruit on the earth. Can we keep going, brother, where it says all Africa? I just want us to understand and listen to some of these key details he's saying that's going on in the world in 1751. Again, that the number of purely white people in the world is proportionally very small. Can we start from there, Ak?
The number of purely white people in the world is proportionally very small. All Africa is black or tawny. Asia, chiefly tawny. America, exclusive of the newcomers, wholly so. And in Europe, the Spaniards, Italians, French, Russians, and Swedes are generally of what we call a swarthy complexion,
Swarthy complexion, which is like a darker, a melanated complexion again. Keep going on.
as are the Germans also. The Saxons only accepted who with the English make the principal body of white people on the face of the earth.
Can you say that line again, brother? And I'm not the scholar to sit here and try to verify this. Again, we can verify the document and see how much Benjamin Franklin knew what he was talking about. But can you read that line again, brother, from the Saxons only?
The Saxons only accepted who with the English make the principal body of white people on the face of the earth. I could wish their numbers were increased. And while we are, as I may call it, scouring our planet, scouring our earth, I could wish the numbers were increased. And while we are, Salakia, end up reading the same,
Oh, it's all cool.
scouring our planet by clearing America of woods, and so making the side of our globe reflect a brighter light to the eyes of inhabitants in Mars or Venus. Why?
And I just want us to pay attention to that line right there. Listen to what he said. It says, scouring our planet by clearing America of woods, and so making this side of our globe reflect a brighter light to the eyes of inhabitants in Mars or Venus. Why should we, in the sight of superior beings, darken its people? This is the mindset of a Benjamin Franklin in 1751. Again, we have to pay attention to some of these nuggets, brother. I'll finish this one out, brother, since I didn't went that far. But as it says, sight of superior beings darken its people. Why increase the sons of Africa by planting them in America, where we have so fair an opportunity, by excluding all blacks and tawnies, of increasing the lovely white and red? Hey, brother, say that. Hey, and again, this is not coming. I don't have the ability to say that this source is credible. But again, all of these sources that I've looked up multiple times show that this is an actual letter coming from Benjamin Franklin or Salakia, an actual book. But again, of increasing the lovely white and red. But perhaps I am partial to the complexion of my country, for such kind of partiality is natural to mankind. So again, that's just coming out of, they say, as the horse's mouth, if you will. We had the man in our first video telling you that that was the secret council that went on behind closed doors, that they wanted to weaponize the skin color. Okay, that was something that they were going to use as a new council, a new form of confederacy in the earth. Okay, and us brothers are really going to get into how scary that is, because it seems to be outlined in the scripture that was going to happen. But again, I just wanted us to get that understanding coming again from Benjamin Franklin, so we can understand the real plight of what was really going on in those days. I'm gonna go to our second video. All right, let me pull this one up. Now that we got that understanding, listen to what Salakia. Now, considering what us brothers just went over, think about a video like this when you see it.
Charlie Kirk's shooting, protests erupted nationwide. At some rallies, demonstrators were chanting, "White man fight back," a slogan linked to white supremacist groups. This sparked debates online about the racial undertones of the chant and whether it even makes sense, considering the shooter was white and the event happened in Utah, a mostly white state. The shooting has also reignited conversations about campus free speech and political violence. Some conservative figures are calling Kirk a martyr for his beliefs, while others warn that political violence is becoming normalized. Where do you stand on this? Free speech or dangerous escalation? In the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's shooting, protests erupted nationwide. At some rallies, demonstrators were chanting, "White man fight back," a slogan linked to white supremacy.
So essentially, you have these men that lined up after the shooting of Charlie Kirk, and they start yelling, "White man fight back." If I believe I'm correct, this happened before they may have discover who they believe the suspected shooter was. But either way, look at how that mobilized these men to go out there under the guise of whiteness, under the guise of white man fight back. See, some of these people don't know that they're being duped too. They're duped. They also have inherited lies. They themselves don't even understand that they're living a lie, and that whole classification of race system was just something that would actually fill their heads up with pride and give them something that made them look at themselves as being above another one. And the whole time it's just rooted in vanity. As again, us brothers went into the biblical scriptures and showed you how race is defined biblically. And that's what brothers go out there and do the work so much to teach our people out there on the highways and hedges. But look how many people are mobilized under this guise of white power. That's where the race wars are really going to come from, because a lot of these people don't even truly have the understanding, yet they're going to go out there and fight for the color of their skin. And we have to make sure that us people, the children of Israel, okay, the people that belong to Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, that we are aware of these devices so we don't fall into some of these traps as well. And so we don't end up participating in some of these race wars. I'm gonna finish the video out one more
Supremacist
time.
groups. This sparked debates online about the racial undertones of the chant and whether it even makes sense, considering the shooter was white and the event happened in Utah, a mostly white state. The shooting has also reignited conversations about campus free speech and political.
And that just lets you know that they was chomping at the bit. Okay, imagine if somehow, some way that was what you would call a so-called black man or African American that did that shooting. This is that's exactly the event that many of these people are waiting for, because the world has radicalized them to worship the image of their own skin color. Again, we can see that these things were placed in the earth. This whole classification of race and whiteness was placed in the earth, and we see what it's doing to some of the main people who even benefit from that title itself, the title of whiteness. But again, I want us to go into the scriptures real quick. We got one more video that we're going to go into, but I want us to go ahead and try to wrap this out with the scriptures and give the understanding, and pick back up at Matthew chapter 24. Let's get the classic, brother, because Yahweh Shai warned us of these things taking place in the last days. Can we start at verse 4, brother, and read down to verse 8, Matthew 24 and verse 4?
Matthew chapter 24 and verse 4. And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows.
All these are the beginning of sorrows. So believe it or not, Yahweh Shai gave you this warning when his disciples asked him what are going to be some of the signs of the end of the world and of your coming. Yahweh Shai prophesied of these wars, and some of them even being race wars. If you go into the word, matter of fact, I'm going to do that real fast. If you go into this word nations, the Strong's definition of it, where it says nation should rise against nation, we got Strong's G 184, which goes into ethnos.
Strong's G 1484, ethnos. Ethnos.
Okay, so again, Yahweh Shai warned us of these things and that they were going to come on the earth. Let's get a little bit more understanding on that one, brother. Let's get Revelation chapter 13 and verse 1. I want us to try to understand and keep in mind the videos that brothers play and understand the race wars that are going on in the earth, the different deceptions and the counsel that this man put in the earth. We don't know how deep that counsel went and who they decided to shake hands with and put together that craftiness of exalting whiteness. Okay, getting people to worship that image and worship what that is that's been exalted. Okay, and brothers can kind of see where we're going with this. Okay, but I'm not really going to go there. We're just going to let the scriptures go out and bear witness to what they bear witness to, brother. Can we start at verse 1?
The book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And
Now let's cover a few things, okay? Because and we're not gonna make this too long, but we got two words. For one, what does a beast mean? Okay, I know brothers know this, and we're not gonna draw it out any longer than we have to. But let's just make sure that we get the understanding and break it down right. Okay, Daniel chapter 7. With this one, brother, let's start at verse 1, brother. Daniel chapter 7, verse 1, because those brothers are going to teach you that beast is going into different kingdoms in different nations on the earth, nations of men. Okay, let's get the understanding, brother. Verse 1.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 1. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heavens strove upon the great sea. And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another.
Okay, so here we have these beasts again. Okay, let's get the understanding, brother, because this is a vision that's being interpreted by Daniel from Nebuchadnezzar, brother. Let's read verse 12 to get a little bit more understanding about these beasts.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 12. As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away.
Now, if these were beasts in the sense of, I don't know what a person may be thinking, transformers or lions, tigers, bears. But again, brothers are teaching you that the understanding of beasts is going into nations and kingdoms. So it says, as concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away. Again, I've never known for a transformer or a lion, tiger, or bear to have dominion. But can you finish that one out, brother?
As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and time.
And the last one, brother, let's get verse 23, wrap that up.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 23. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth.
That's plain upon tables right there. The fourth beast is the fourth kingdom,
which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces.
Yeah, let's get verse 24, brother, because that's a good clue.
Verse 24, and 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings.
So brothers just wanted to give that understanding to make that plain. Okay, let's go back to where we were, Revelations chapter 13. So again, when we're reading verse 2 and it says, and the beast which I saw, and we understand the dragon. Okay, matter of fact, let's get that one, brother. What is this dragon that's giving them their great power? Can we get the classic, brother, Revelations 12 and 9?
Revelation chapter 12, verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
So again, another one that's plain. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan. So again, when we go to Revelations 13, once again, and we're reading verse 2, now we can put some names and some understanding to what we're reading here. So Revelation 13 and 2, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. So now when we hear that, we know that Satan is essentially dealing with the kingdom. I hope that's been able to be made sense by the way the brothers pulled that out. Can we keep going to verse 3 out?
Revelation chapter 13, verse 3.
Oh, slide.
And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast.
So now, and that's why it's important to do this, because now when you hear this, understand what beast means. Now, every time when you hear beast, Get that fuzzy thought out of your mind about transformers or animals and understand that we're talking about the nation. World wondered after a nation. Again, we're brothers are following the fruits. Okay, and I'm Most High willing you are able to do the same. But when we see that all the world wondered after the beast, remember that we're talking about that nation. Verse 4.
Revelation 13, verse 4. And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth, speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And
we can start right there, brother, because there's another one I want to bring out. Okay, what do we get right here? That they worship the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? Let me pull this one up, brother, because notice what we go into about this image. And there was given unto him to speak great blasphemies and blaspheme against the Most High. And when it was given unto him to make war with the saints. Okay, let me get one more real quick, brother. Revelations chapter, let me pull out 11. Can we pick up at 11 out?
Revelation chapter 13, verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven and on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast.
Can you say that line again, brother?
I'll start from 14. And deceiveth them that dwelleth on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live.
Just keep paying attention, okay? One thing that he said to them that dwell on the earth is that they should make an image to the beast. Again, going into this nation, brother. Can we go to 15?
Revelation 13, verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
We can start right there, brother. But again, now we're going into this image, okay? And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So brothers are going to try to get some understanding on this image of the beast. Okay, we've tackled the dragon. We've tackled the beast. Let's see if we can get understanding on image. Now, I'm going to tell you first, image is used a lot in the scriptures. Image can go into visage, meaning somebody's actual appearance. Image could go into reputation. Image has a lot of meanings in the scriptures, and brothers are going to be forthright honest with that. I want us to pay attention to this one because it seems to draw a really good parallel, and this is Ezekiel chapter 23. Let's get some information going into this image of the beast. Okay, again, Ezekiel chapter 23. Let me pick up at. Can we pick up at verse 13 up?
Ezekiel chapter 23, verse 13. Then I saw that she was defiled, that they took both one way.
Now, if you want some understanding, again, brothers, we're not those brothers that try to, deceive you with the context. This context is going into a judgment between Judah, Jerusalem and Israel, because they were playing the harlot with all of these different nations. Okay. So I want you to listen to some of the counsel and some of the correction that the Most High gives them, because they were playing the harlot with these different nations. Can we get verse 14 out?
and that she increased her whoredom. For when she saw men portrayed upon the wall the images of the Chaldeans,
The what of the
for
Chaldeans, brother?
the images of the Chaldeans, portrayed with vermilion, girded with girdles upon their loins, exceeding in dyed attire upon their heads, all of them princes to look to, after the manner of the Babylonians of Chaldea, the land of their nativity. And as soon as she saw them with her eyes, she doted upon them, and sent messengers unto them into Chaldea.
And here's the part, brother. Get 17.
Ezekiel 23, verse 17. And the Babylonians came to her into the bed of love, and they defiled her with their whoredom. And she was polluted with them, and her mind was alienated from them.
And her mind was alienated from them. So again, that's the understanding that we get when it goes into image. Let's get just a couple of more, brother. Like I said, Matthew 22. Because there's a lot of different understanding about the word image. Again, brothers are just going to bring out a couple of understandings to get this. Can we get Matthew 22 and starting at verse 19? This one's really interesting.
Matthew chapter 22, verse 19. Show me the tribute money. And they brought upon him a penny. And he saith unto them, who is this image and superscription?
What are brothers trying to give you? Brothers are just trying to give you places where image was used in the Bible. Even sometimes where our people were worshiping an image that was causing them to go into idolatry, which really matches a lot what Revelations is going into. But again, I just want us to pay attention to some contexts about different images. Can we go down to verse 21 out?
And he saith unto them, who is this image and superscription? They say unto him, Caesar's. Then saith he unto them, render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and unto God the things that are God's.
And unto God the things that are God's. So again, he said in verse 20, and he saith unto them, whose is this image and superscription? They say unto him, Caesar's. So again, image is just going into, again, it could be visage, it can be a lot of things. Okay, but when we're talking about the image of this beast, I just want us to pay attention to some of these signs that we're seeing in the scriptures. Again, the videos that brothers played you about the different counsels and secrets that they've been placing on us since the beginning. Okay, weaponizing this whole thing about skin color and whiteness. Okay, that's a mighty thing for us to pay attention to. Let me get one more, brother, in Revelations chapter 14. Let's pick up there. Can we start with this one, brother? Let's start at verse 6. Revelations 14 and 6.
Revelation chapter 14, verse 6. And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people, saying with a loud voice, fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of water.
I love that scripture, and us brothers bring that out a lot, because listen to what it says is this everlasting gospel that is going to be preached to everybody on the earth. It says, fear the Most High and give glory to him that made that created the heavens and the earth. Okay, brother, can we go down to verse 8?
And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
Listen to how all of these things are being tied together. Remember what brothers read in Daniel. Remember what we're now reading in Revelations. I don't know brothers know these prophecies, but a lot of times when we discuss this image of the beast or the mark of the beast, or even just some of these devices of Satan, when brothers go out there on the highways and hedges and tell you all the time that your enemy has weaponized skin color. Your enemy has weaponized that even to his own people. So he'll have people that are willing to fight and die for this skin color that he created. And the whole time, people are really categorized by the seed of their fathers. And believe it or not, this is a a good stumbling block, a lot of us brothers can end up walking into seeing the world in the same way that our oppressors have created us to see it. We read in this Bible all the time, but even we don't have eyes to see that a person is the seed of his father. And sometimes we ourselves can get caught up operating in that same image worship that our oppressors have put on us. Now we see everything through the lens of black, white, what those men that you looked up in the beginning of the video, you can see 5 different classifications that they classified the races of people. And a lot of times we go off and we use their systems in how we see the world. That's another thing that we have to be careful not to do, brothers and sisters. But can we go ahead and go down to verse 10 up?
Revelation 14, verse 10. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name.
See that, and that should pause for anybody, for all of us. Are you in danger of being somebody that's worshiping this nation, this fourth kingdom that was to come upon the earth? Think about the video that we showed you with all of those people out there chanting "White man, fight back." Okay, does it not sound like that they are completely worshiping the beast, which is the nation, and also worshiping the image? Which, like I said, I don't want to be irresponsible by saying something that I know not, but us brothers are just bringing the scriptures out and letting them say what they say. Okay, we let the fruits declare who is who, but we have to be aware of these different things that Satan is doing in these last days. Let me get one more, brother. Revelation chapter 17. We almost about to wrap this up, but I'm gonna get another video. We got a third video to bring out, and we're gonna end it on that one. But brother, let's get this last one about that beast and about that image that's going to be going on in the last days, brother. Let's get Revelation 17, starting at 1.
Revelation chapter 17, verse 1. And there came one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 veils, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication.
See, you got to be thinking to yourself, what is this fornication? What is this that the whole world has worshiped after this beast and after this image? That's why I want you to keep letters like that Benjamin Franklin letter from 1751 in your mind, that the world, according to him, used to be a place where the so-called white man was in the minority. Okay, and that's globally. But now look at the earth. Do you know how much? I don't even know if we can say the word, but you know the G word that ends with side. Do you know how much G side likely took place in order for them to be able to have the numbers that they have according to majority and minority now? Okay, think about all of the things that King Leopold did and all of that G side that happened. Think about the transatlantic slave trade and all of that G side that happened, or the Native Americans and all that G side that happened. There's a people that are on the earth wiping out melanated people and have exalted them, their nation, their image as the matter of fact, brother, how often do me and you bring this out at camp where you say, we'll be out there on the highways and hedges with a sign of Caesar Borgia, and he's got horns on his head. And we telling people that this man is not Jesus Christ, this man is the devil. Most people that come up there and get offended are people that look like us. Believe it or not, a lot of times the very white man or white woman come by and be like, I know that's the truth. Because some people are more concerned with the truth, and a lot of us are still destroyed because Hosea 4 and 6, we're destroyed by a lack of knowledge. But think about Brazil, brother, and I know you're familiar with Brazil. What's the name of that statue, brother, that they got there, the big old Jesus statue? Do it got a name, or they just created that up there one day?
Yeah, they call it Jesus Cristo. So it's just a Jesus Cristo statue.
And think about things like that going on in the earth. Brothers rightly mentioned Caesar Borgia and the sign that's going out throughout everybody's, is on every grandma's fireplace and in everybody's living room. But what about statues like that? Think about that. a big old statue worshiping this image. This is exactly what the people did. Remember when we took you to the account where they were worshiping images before in Babylon? Okay, they saw how good the men looked and they put up a statue and an image to worship these people. These are the exact same things that are going on in 2025. So again, make sure you're not one of those people that are following after that beast, that are worshiping after that beast, that are worshiping after that image. And at the end of the day, you become somebody who is a lover and seeker of the truth. And that means no matter whether you black or white, because brothers got to say this, we can't be irresponsible to go out there and start teaching the same talking and oppressive points that they put out. So brothers not going to join in on the race wars of black versus white and brown versus whatever you want to do. Brothers are going to rightly divide this word. And again, whether no matter what nation or no matter what you may look like according to the flesh, it's wise that you do the same. That you also apply Job chapter 8, verse 8. That's the class that we go to and inquire and search for your forefathers, because that's how we determine who is who. This whole race war thing that's being put on in the earth, it seems like it's another tactic of the enemy. So whether you one of those people that's fighting on the left-hand side, a matter of fact, that's the perfect segue into this video, brother, because I got to get this one.
Can I make a correction right quick?
Come.
The name of the statue actually does have a name. It's Cristo Redentor. So it means Christ the Redeemer.
Come. All praise to the Most High. And brothers and sisters may be familiar with that. It's the big stone statue. I believe, is it in Rio, brother? Rio de Janeiro. It's sitting in Rio, and just different things like that have happened on the earth. I hope you're tying together all of these clues that show that crafty counsel. These things weren't done in a vacuum by accident. There was counsel to exalt the image of the so-called white man. There was counsel to exalt Caesar Borgia. There was counsel in the Renaissance period. There was counsel to create statues like my brothers mentioned in Rio de Janeiro. So you just have to be honest with the scriptures. But again, I want us to get this video so we can get a good example of what we ought not to be. Okay, matter of fact, this video, I'm gonna just let y'all watch this one. Check this one out.
Black people achieve true liberation. That's by taking it in blood. There has to be blood all over the floor. There has to be bodies on the floor. There has to be people screaming and crying. That is the reality.
Yeah, this is low capacity.
It's genetic too. Epigenetics?
Epigenetics.
Yeah, something like that. You download your ancestors'
pain and suffering into your DNA, and it makes you stupid.
When y'all ready to go outside and hunt them white boys, hunt them cops, go to that white boy's neighborhood and get it up. When y'all ready to do what y'all know we gotta do, hit me.
What y'all need to be hunting for is them ninjas in y'all's neighborhoods killing y'all, selling drugs to y'all, pimping y'all's women. That's who you need to take care of. White man is not in your neighborhood. Y'all live amongst yourselves. The only reason why the cops are there is because y'all in acting crazy.
You know, many of us don't want to burn the relationships we have with white people, all of these things. When y'all ready to go outside and take blood, hit me anytime. But you see, a lot of us are not ready to do that.
You don't want no race war in this country. What's wrong with these people?
It's crazy, man. If there's a race war, he actually think like the Latinos, the Native Americans, and some white people's.
Listen to this part. I just want everybody to pay attention. I may play it again because I do want us to finish Revelation 17 out, but listen to this last statement they make. And honestly, he's not wrong. And it's brothers like this that are telling you exactly what's in their heart. Let's listen to this.
Gonna jump on their side. No, everybody's gonna jump on the white people's side. Even a lot of blacks. I'm gonna be one of the first ones to join.
I'm gonna be a captain.
Yeah.
Captain Hard.
The Asians, Latinos, everybody's gonna side with the whites. Not because they're racist, because they got black fatigue.
Black people achieve true liberation.
Think about how scary it is with the verses that brothers just read. That's a lot of the world. That's a lot of the world who are unknowingly, ignorantly following after the beast and after his image. Think about all of the things that brothers just brought out to let you understand how deceptive this is, to let you know that these are social constructs created by your very oppressors, ways to make sure that they categorize the people who they wanted to seem are better than you as white and everybody else categorized as below them. Okay, again, if you go read those men that started these things, you can see a lot of their mind frames and how they created these races. These men, I think they call themselves the Hodge twins, and fair use for all of these videos as well. If I didn't say that, fair use to this video as well. But brothers like this put out a lot of content going into the whole black and white and feeding into some of those same rhetorics and stereotypes. But again, these are the very people who it seems the scriptures are talking about. And we got to address the young man too, because ain't no way you can believe that that's what you got to be doing. He's also caught up in that same deception of believing that he's out there to go fight the so-called white man, trying to mobilize you as a so-called black man or black woman to go in there and join in on the fight, to join in on the race wars. But again, all of this counsel is unwise. Okay, and brothers are going to bring out the scriptures. But like I said, I wanted us to get Revelation 17, and then we're going to play that one more time and wrap up if we can, brother. And shalom to everybody that's been able to tune in and stay in there. Shalom, Jeff Berry. Shalom, brother Doe CM. Khan, all praise to the Most High. Brother, can we start at Revelation chapter 17 and verse 4 and go down to 5? I just wanted to make sure we get that part.
Can you put it on the screen?
Oh, Slocky.
The book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stone and pearls, having a gold cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
I'm not that conspiracy type brother, you know, and I do my best to try to not go down any of those rabbit holes. Again, not because, man, there's so many things that could be addressed in a video like this, because some people, even in our own community, think that just because you're not loose with your lips, that you somehow working with the enemy or something. But a lot of times they don't understand that who a brother or sister's true fear is in Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So brothers, like the scriptures we bring out so often, we rightly divide this word, trying to make sure that we're not corrupting it. But again, I don't want to go into any, like I said, conspiracies, but I do think it's telling the part that says having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. When I read that, a picture comes to my mind. If it don't come to y'all mind, that's fine. Can we read verse 5 out?
Revelation chapter 17, verse 5. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon, the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
Think about that. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon, the Great, which is the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. Okay, brothers brought this out a lot. Matter of fact, let's get that real quick just to reference that. Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 4. You know, brothers brought a lesson out about what the righteous man is going to be doing in the last days, knowing that all of these things are taking place. Let's get the sign that the mark that's going to go on the righteous man and woman's head, brother. Ezekiel 9 and 4.
Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 4. And the Lord said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof.
And we said it often. Unfortunately, a lot of people, Christians, Israelites, other nations, a lot of us are unknowingly rooting for the beast. A lot of us are unknowingly hoping the beast wins. Go beast is what you're doing. Okay, you're actually going to be on the side of those who fight against the Most High, because you don't understand that deception is worked on you. And again, this lesson can't even be pointed. I know we got a lot of the other nations in the videos, but this lesson has to go out to everywhere, because this deception has went out everywhere. Those men took crafty counsel to implement what we call whiteness or the white race. And again, brothers hopefully have went into the understanding to give that one. But I just wanted us to understand, because when we go to Revelations, let's see, we got the abominations and the mark that's going to be set on the forehead of the men and women that are crying for these abominations. See, some people aren't crying for the abominations. Like I said, what did we just see with those brothers called the Hodge twins? Whose side you think those brothers planning to fight on? They just told you. I don't have to speculate that. They just flat out told you whose side they planning to fight on and who they think other people are going to fight on. They're going to go fight on team white. They're going to go fight on side white, because they got what you call black fatigue. And brothers not even going to go into that. But I'm just saying, listen to how brothers are essentially speaking the words right out of the Bible. You can't even make this stuff up. That a brother essentially tells you that when the race wars pop off, I'm going to go with team white because I got black fatigue. And this is what you would call a so-called black man. So again, I'm not the one to be that conspiracist. But when we start going to Revelations and you see things like worshiping after the beast, all the world worship after this beast, all of the world was drunk with the wine of her fornication, everybody went to go worship after the image of this beast. If you understand that beast is a nation and how brothers uncovered images, brothers like those Hodge twins, I'd really be able to, Most High willing, those brothers able to see a video like this and go and seek out some wisdom of the scriptures and repent. But I'm going to play this video one more time, and then us brothers are going to get up a couple of precepts to wrap up, because what we want to definitely leave our people with is what to do. Okay, brothers always do this in our videos, is we go over the situation, but that's not nearly as important as telling people what they got to do. Because see, some people know this information and they got plans to go out and use it. Like, unfortunately, our young brother here, we teach our people who they are. We teach our people nationality, heritage, truth. We go into all kind of truth of the Bible. But an important question is, what do you do with that? When you find out what it means to be black, white, Israelite, whatever it is, your whole goal in life is still Ecclesiastes 12 and 13, to fear God and keep his commandments. For that's the whole duty of man. Don't let these conversations and this knowledge make you think that you got to go out there and be on the front lines of a war that the Most High didn't order. But again, I just want to play this video one more time, and then let's.
It's genetic too.
It's like, I know that one didn't start from the top, man. Let me start this one again from the beginning. I want to play this video just one more time. Again, fair use.
Black people achieve true liberation. That's by taking it in blood. There has to be blood all over the floor. There has to be bodies on the floor. There has to be people screaming and crying. That is the reality.
Yeah, this is just slow capacity. It's genetic too. Epigenetics. Yeah, something like that. You download your ancestors' pain and suffering into your DNA, and it makes you stupid.
When y'all ready to go outside and hunt them white boys, hunt them cops, go to that white boy's neighborhood and
listen to this. And that's what I mean. How you going to identify the white boy? You know, like I said, don't follow counsel like this. Matter of fact, let's get this scripture right while we're in the middle of that. I'm going to go back to this video. But see, a lot of us think that the Most High is going to be with us in our foolishness. And that's just not the case. Can we get Psalms chapter? Oh, it's like this 34 and 7, brother. Psalms chapter 34 and verse 7. Can we read that one out? Psalms chapter 34 and verse 7.
Psalm chapter 34, verse 7. The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him.
No, he campeth around about them that are real ends.
That fear him.
No, they got all the bravery in the world and they got they switch.
That fear him.
See, brother, your protection has to be Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. That's why I said that's a dangerous message as well. Just as dangerous as the message of them twins. Okay, the Most High did not ordain for you to go out there and go crack anybody's heads according to the very oppressive systems that they've put on us. So Most High willing brothers have done a good job at giving the edification to understand where these things really come from. Us brothers are trying to get you to come back to the Most High of the Bible. Okay, we've identified how we determine who we are, and this whole race thing is just going to be one of those ploys that unfortunately seems like it's going to get many of our people set up. Going to get them to go out there on some foolishness, and definitely going to get the other nations to go out there on some foolishness. Again, look how quickly they mobilized when Charlie Kirk got shot, when they even had the thought that it could be somebody that had the other skin color. So again, these are the very wars that we can foresee in the earth. And now Most High willing brothers and sisters got a little bit of understanding of some of Satan's devices and how these things are manifesting in the earth. But again, to address that young brother, the Most High is going to camp around those that fear him. That's what kind of protection you need, my brother. You want to have the protection of Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Brothers bring this out a lot. Consider the account in 1 Maccabees chapter 5 with Judas and Jonathan. And then you had two other men, Slacky if I get the names confused, but 1 Maccabees chapter 5, and I want to say verses 55 on down, you can go into an account where there was men who chose to go and fight against the heathen and make a name for themselves. Those men ended up getting 2,000 of the children of Israel killed. Why? Because they were moving under orders that wasn't that of Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So I'm going to go back to that video, but I just wanted to address that young brother through the scriptures to let them know that that's not how we do this thing. That's not going to be our salvation. Okay. But again, I'm going to pick this video back up. I'm going to start it again. Fair use.
The sound is not on.
And brothers address this video, and this is
the sound not working.
Oh, the sound's off, brother?
Yes, sir.
All right, Salaki. Let me see if I can just reload that. Is that up now, brother?
Still not on.
Still no, huh?
No, sir.
Okay, Con. I'll see if I can pull that one up again. Okay, it says I might have to do a refresh, brother. Hopefully, if I do this, it sticks up. So I'm gonna try to do a refresh because I do want to play that just one more time. All right, brother, you able to hear me now?
I am.
Okay, Con. Hey, Salakia for that. Again, man, Satan's devices, man, they may don't want this video to play, but us brothers are gonna go ahead and get to it, okay? Let me go ahead and pick that video up one more time. Like I said, I just wanted us to play it just one more time. All right, brother, are you able to see this and hear this now?
I don't see the video.
All right, there we go. All right, again, Salakia, brothers and sisters, bear with me. I think you got it now, right?
I see the video now.
Okay, let's see
I'm
if
gonna
we
wait
got
till
the
you
sound.
play to make sure we can hear it.
That's by taking it in blood. There has
Yep,
to be
good.
blood all over the floor. There has to be bodies on the floor. There has to be people screaming and crying. That is the reality.
Yeah, this is just low capacity. It's genetic too. Epigenetics. Yeah, something like that. You download your ancestors' pain and suffering into your DNA, and it makes you stupid.
When y'all ready to go outside and hunt them white boys, hunt them cops, go to that white boy's neighborhood and get it up. When y'all ready to do what y'all know we gotta do, hit me.
What y'all need to be hunting for is them ninjas in y'all's neighborhoods killing y'all, selling drugs to y'all, pimping y'all's women. That's who you need to take care of. White man is not in your neighborhood. Y'all
Again, and before the video messed up, brothers was addressing that we went into this. To say something as ignorant as the white man isn't in y'all neighborhood is just really not understanding any of the information that we put out. But see, your oppressor is going to raise up people like this and give them a platform. People that are going to come out there and push their talking points and speak the same mistruths that they want to put out there. So again, nobody's trying to absolve anybody from what they do. If you're a criminal, brothers ain't here to absolve criminals. Brothers ain't here to absolve people who are trying to not be on the side of the Most High. But again, we're not going to let brothers like this address these young brothers and not address the entire situation. To say something as ignorant as the so-called white man isn't in your neighborhoods just shows that he really isn't informed about any of the information that brothers put out in our last video about all of the different tactics and things that they've done to the so-called black man and African American since we stepped foot on this soil. So again, these aren't your leaders either. I'm gonna let the video continue though.
live amongst yourselves. The only reason why the cops are there is because y'all in acting crazy.
You know, many of us don't want to burn the relationships we have with white people, all of these things. When y'all ready to go outside and take blood, hit me anytime. But you see, a lot of us are not ready to do that.
You don't want no race war in this country. What's wrong with these people? It's crazy, man. If there's a race war, he actually think like the Latinos, the Native Americans, and some white people's gonna jump on his side. No, everybody's gonna jump on the white people's side. Even a lot of blacks. I'm gonna be one of the first ones to join. I'm gonna be a captain. Captain Hard. The Asians, Latinos, everybody's gonna side with the whites. Not because they're racist, because they got black fatigue.
Black people achieve
Not because they're racist, but because they got black fatigue. And again, they're just speaking their oppressors' talking points. All the black and white rhetoric you see, him telling people, y'all need to go do this and y'all need to go do that. They're speaking almost as if they're not a part of the black community themselves. And believe it or not, they may not be. You know, and us brothers, we don't go by the skin color. So I'm not going to pretend that I know who those brothers are, but I definitely will say that these are not your leaders. These are not the men that you need to be following. Neither the young men or these twins here. Us brothers want to go ahead and wrap this lesson up. Most High willing, this has been edifying going into preparing our people, or should I say, notifying our people of the different things that are going on in the earth in these last days. The race wars that are coming. And like I said, we can't let you leave without understanding the most important thing, which is what do you do? Okay, we got enemies coming from all sides. Brothers have said that so often. You got darts coming from the enemy, the other nations, but you also got darts coming from your own people. And that also is deception coming from the other nations. And then you got deceptions coming from your own people. I always consider this scripture when I think about that. I'm going to go to this one. This is the book of Micah, chapter 7. And with this one, brother, if we can start at verse 1, let's just get the classic, brother. Micah chapter 7 and verse 1.
Micah chapter 7, verse 1. Woe is me, for I am as when they have gathered the summer fruits, as the grapplings of the vintage. There is no cluster to eat. My soul desired the first ripe fruit. The good man is perished out of the earth, and there is none upright among men. They all lie and wait for blood. They hunt every man his brother with a net, that they may do evil with both hands earnestly. The prince asketh, and the judge asketh for a reward. And the great man, he uttereth his mischievous desire, so they wrap it up. The best of them is a briar. The most upright is sharper than a thorn hedge. The day of thy watchman and thy visitation cometh, now shall be their perplexity. Trust ye not in a friend, put ye not confidence in a guide. Keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom. For the son dishonoreth the father, the daughter riseth up against her mother, the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies are the men of his own house.
And the reason why brothers bring this out so often is because Micah started this chapter off by saying, woe is me. You know, when you look around, sometimes you can be discouraged by all the deception that's out there. Again, not only coming from the other nations, but even coming from within, coming from some of your own people. But verse 7 is the real dagger that brothers want to get into because, and I think Brother Jeff Berry said there will come a time, but that will be on the Most High's order only, not taking up our own vengeance. Absolutely, brother, and all praise to the Most High. Matter of fact, that's what brothers are going to end with, going into the book of Psalms, chapter 37. And Yamina made a good point as well. She said, and that is what so many have an issue with. We have to wait on Yahawah's command. And that's essentially saying exactly what the scriptures go into. Like I said, Psalms 37 is going to be how Most High willing brothers wrap this one up. But we can even get it in verse 7, brother. Can we read Micah 7 and 7?
Micah chapter 7, verse 7. Therefore I will look unto the Lord. I will wait for the God of my salvation. My God will hear me.
Therefore I will look unto Yahawah. I will wait for the God of my salvation. My God will hear me. See, a lot of these times, the Most High is waiting for your faith to grow and waiting for your faith to increase. While you may be trying to increase your arms and increase your ability to fight, or you thinking you're going to get you a side army together and go and take out the so-called white man. No, the Most High is looking for people that's going to look unto him, and they're waiting for him. And they understand that the Most High is the rock of our salvation, the horn of your salvation. What does that mean? Your strength. The Most High is the strength of the Israelite man and woman's salvation. So that means that we're not that of ourselves. Good points, brothers, bringing out. And I think somebody said we got brother Do CM is the her Israel. If you can remind me of which verse you're talking about, brother, where you said is the her Israel. Just remind me of the verse and chapter that you're talking about, and then Most High willing, we can get back into it. But Jeremiah 16:16, my brother Jeff Berry put in, behold, I will send for many fishers, saith Yahawah, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks. So again, this is the Most High's judgment. We know that the Most High told us that we're his battle axes. What brothers really want to do is make sure that we're operating in what we read in Psalms chapter 34, verse 7. Or like I said, brothers was going to end with, consider Micah chapter 7, verse 7. Let's go to Psalms 37, brother, and go ahead and wrap up. Mighty precepts too as well, man. These are things that brothers got to kind of do because, again, notice what we said. It's one thing to have the knowledge and the wisdom, but a brother may ask you, what do I do with it? You know, you're telling me who my enemy is. You're telling me all of these things that they did. You're telling me all these things to be aware of. Yes, brother. But that's not so you can convince the enemy or that you can have knowledge about how to combat the enemy. No, this is that you may come back to the Most High, understanding the Most High's judgment, which he said that we never did in Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 3 on down. We have to be able to receive this correction, understand the judgment of the Most High, and make sure that we're getting ourselves right with him. But brother, let's go ahead and pick up at this classic, brother, then wrap up if we can. Oh, the verse in Revelations where he was talking about a mark on the forehead. Oh, and you said, oh, you're a sister. Okay, Shalom, sister, and Salakia. The verse in Revelation where it was talking about the mark on her forehead. I know the verse that we brought out about the mark on the forehead. We did get man, we got a few going into that one. Do you remember the one with the mark on the forehead, brother? I know we did get the one in Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 4, going into those who sigh and cry for the abominations. And then we also went into Revelation 17 and went into that abomination. Let me just make sure I got you. I know we went into Revelation 17 and we talked about this abomination as well. And that mark, it said, and upon her forehead was a name written. So this her is talking about Mystery Babylon. I'm not sure if that's the her. But this her that has that mark on her forehead is addressing Mystery Babylon. Again, verse 5 kind of gives that understanding. If that's the one that you were talking about. If not, you can put it again, sister. Most High willing, again, we can get to it. Let me go ahead and get this last verse if we can, brother. I just wanted us to finish out with this
one. Psalms 37.
If we can start at Psalms 37, and let's start at verse 3.
Psalm 37, verse 3. Trust in the Lord and do good, so shall thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed. Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart. Commit thy way unto the Lord, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. And he shall bring forth thy righteousness as the light, and thy judgment as the noonday.
This is the Most High bringing forth this righteousness, and the Most High bringing forth this judgment. Keep going out, verse 7.
Rest in the Lord, and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass.
Again, and Sister Yamina brought this up as well. Rest in Yahawah and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. You know, and this is, I'm not trying to go off into a tangent. But man, brothers have to make sure that their strength and their horn is Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. You know, Brother Naquam says this a lot, and I always get this from this brother. He had something that I think was funny. He says, you know, somebody gonna call me on the day of trouble, you know, and be like, hey, brother, what we supposed to do? Where we supposed to go? And he does this joke like, you know, brother, how dare you be calling me what the scriptures tell you to do? You know, and the brother rightfully, you know, references Psalm chapter 50. I know I keep saying I don't want to go on these tangents, but let me get this one just real quick. Psalm chapter 50 and verse 15. Can we just get that one real quick out?
The book of Psalms chapter 50 and verse 15. And call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me.
And we call upon the Most High in the day of trouble, and the Most High will deliver us, and then we glorify the Most High. So what brothers are really trying to say, and again, to that young brother, don't let some man sign you up for a war that's not of the Most High. That's essentially all brothers are really trying to say with that message. You can't let brothers get you amped up. That's whether it's a young brother, whoever it is. Don't let somebody make you believe that your rock, your horn, your salvation isn't in Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Because when these race wars start coming on the earth, a lot of people may end up getting caught up in these things because they're out there trying to follow the orders of some man or the direction of some man. So again, if the Most High is giving you that thing to do, then all praise to the Most High, go and do that. But on that day of trouble, Most High willing, the first thought that comes in a brother or sister's mind is to call upon Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, not their own strength, not their own might, not their own army, but knowing that our horn and our strength is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So again, brother, and I said I knew we want to wrap that one out, but let's get Psalm 37 out. And I think we was maybe at, let's pick up at verse 8, brother.
Psalm chapter 37, verse 8. Cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil. For evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth.
Those that wait upon Yahweh, they shall inherit the earth. Keep going out.
Psalm 37, verse 10. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yea, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. But the meek shall inherit the earth.
Sounds like what Yahweh said in Matthew chapter 5. Salakia for that, brother. But just so you know that this was something that was echoed by Yahweh in Matthew 5. The meek inheriting the earth. Salakia. Keep going out.
But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. The wicked plotteth against the just, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. The Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. The wicked have drawn out the sword, and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy, and to slay such as be of upright conversation.
And I love that verse. Think about what the wicked is trying to do. It says the wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy, and to slay such as be of upright conversation. And really, that's all brothers really trying to bring, you know, and that's something that all of us can do, is have our conversation be upright, whether you're amongst the Gentiles or whether you're amongst our own people. What did Yahweh command us to do in Zechariah chapter 8 and verse 15? Again, I'm going to paraphrase it, but he said, "Hear, Judah, this is what you should do. Speak ye truth, every one to his neighbor, and execute the judgment of truth and peace within our gates." So that's very good instruction, and understanding that also one of the tactics of the enemy. Sometimes one of our most important things is that information like this is the conversation. That's what it means to have upright conversation. That's honestly what your enemy is afraid of. They don't want you to pull out the facts. They don't want you to go into the history, and they definitely don't want you to go into the scriptures. So again, that's who they're going to be trying to slay, such as be of upright conversation. Brother, let me go ahead, because I want to wrap these up with a few more, a couple of more verses, and just go ahead and finish it up. Let me get 28. If we can just go down to verse 28, brother. Can we get Psalms 37 and 28?
Psalm chapter 37, verse 28. For the Lord loveth judgment, and forsaketh not his saints. They are preserved forever, but the seed of the wicked shall be cut off.
See, and we have to believe that, brothers and sisters. That's what faith is going into. You got to truly believe that the Most High is going to bring your salvation. Okay, you got to truly believe that the Most High loves judgment. He's not going to forsake you. These things are going to, the judgment of the enemy is not going to not come to pass. Okay, the Most High, these words are going to come to pass. He says, "And forsake it not his saints, but the seed of the wicked shall be cut off." The Most High loves judgment. So us just have to put our faith in the Most High and truly believe that he is going to come and bring justice to his chosen people. We just do what he's commanded us to do. Matter of fact, it's going to say that, brother. Can you go read verse 29?
Psalm 37, verse 29. The righteous shall inherit the land and dwell therein forever.
And the last one, brother, let's just get verse 34. We're going to wrap it up on this one. And before we do, I just want to say shalom to everybody. Good questions, man. I definitely love when the chat is interactive, you know, because people got good questions. People got good scriptures. People got good inputs. And Most High willing, this lesson was edifying. Like I said, brothers tried to do their best to go into the scripture and give the history of where these races and concepts were even created. We know where they were created now on the left-hand side. These men that had colonization on their mind and world conquering on their mind, according to even the letters we read from Benjamin Franklin. So we know how they created race and the tools that they use, but we also want to go into the biblical understanding. So Most High willing, we've been able to do this. And we just want to leave you with this last verse, if we can, Psalms 37 and verse 34.
Psalm 37, verse 34. Wait on the Lord and
Do
keep
what,
his
brother?
way. Wait on the Lord.
Nah, brother, go into battle.
Wait on the Lord.
Hey, we brothers can't. Hey, again, brothers not gonna try to profess things that aren't need to be fed. I'm not trying to be a tough guy. I'm gonna be honest. Brothers really need the Most High, and when you really look at the battle, and I would tell that to that young brother. That young brother may think that he's gonna go and war against this country, and you may think that a brother that's counseling you against that maybe that brother got fear in his heart. Like, I'm scared to go and do that. But again, I just hope somebody loves our young brother enough to tell him, brother, the Most High is your salvation. Okay, not your own strength, not your own might, but the Most High is your salvation. Can you keep going, brother? Wait on Yahawah.
Wait on Yahawah and keep his way, and he shall exalt thee to inherit the land. When the wicked are cut off, thou shalt see it.
And that's what Most High willing brothers and sisters are waiting for. That we are waiting on Yahawah, keeping his way, and he shall exalt thee, and we're going to inherit the land. And the wicked are going to be cut off, and guess what? The righteous of the Most High are going to see that thing. So again, Most High willing brothers have done a good job at not only giving you some history, some knowledge of these racial concepts, but also giving you some tools about how you need to move in these last days. Again, don't let anybody make you jump off and do anything that's not under the governing and guidance of Yahawah by Hashem Yahweh Shai. So again, did brothers have anything at all that they wanted to put out? Any scriptures, anything at all?
No, sir, I don't have anything.
Everything good, Jason?
Yeah. No, I don't have anything.
Okay, all praise to the Most High. Well, again, shalom, everybody, for tuning in. Shalom, Jeff Berry. Shalom, Yamina. Shalom, Sister Do CM. I see you said, okay, Thawadah. Okay, so we got your all praise to the Most High. That we got your question answered, sister. But again, Most High willing, the lesson was edifying. Us brothers want to end as we begin, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.